Okay, thank you for joining me for the webinar, How to Create an Activities Resume. My name is Jessica Schultz, and I'm a Student Success Advisor with ICAN, and we are going to cover how to prepare an activities resume. So first off, I want to make sure that everyone knows about our website. It's icansucceed.org. There's a lot of great information on this website about planning and paying for college, plus links to free scholarship searches. So check this out in your spare time. Up in the right-hand corner here is the resource library, this little purple thing up here, resource library. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and be talking about several different downloads or materials that I'll be referencing throughout the webinar here. And this is where you can find that information right here in the resource library on our website at icansucceed.org. So click there and then you can download that information. One of those items that I will be talking about here is the activities resume template, and that's where you can find that. Okay, so a couple other items that you can download here, just to give you an example, is we have a really nice life after high school guide, a guide to career and college planning, as well as the countdown to your future countdown calendars. Now, these run from your freshman year all the way through your senior year of high school. And these are really good countdown calendars because they give you a month-to-month breakdown of students, what you should be doing on a month-to-month basis to get ready for life after high school. It's just a really nice checklist. So from a timeline perspective, these are great. In fact, these two things right here, I think these are the best things that we hand out to parents and students. So these are also on the resource library, or you can go directly to icansucceed.org/materials and find this information there as well. Okay. So what are we going to talk about in this webinar? So first off here, I'm just going to give you a brief rundown or an agenda. This is what we're going to talk about. I am going to explain what an activities resume is. I will define that activities resume. I will go over the different sections of the activities resume and talk about the importance, why it's important to have one. And then I will leave you with some useful tips and links so you can start your own activity resume. Now, first topic, what is an activities resume? Okay, so activities resume, pretty self-explanatory. It's a resume all about you, the student, your freshman year all the way through your senior year of high school. Now, when I say you, okay, I'm referring to you, the students. So if I have any parents watching this webinar, just know you means, I'm talking about the student, okay? So that's what I'm referring to, the student. So this resume is going to highlight your whole high school career, a list of everything that you participated in, every award, honor you received, every job that you've held, okay, from start to finish. Now, this will come in handy for a couple different reasons. One, when you start filling out your college applications, your scholarship applications, even job applications, guys, they're asking you the same questions over and over and over. If you have your activities resume in front of you, you'll be able to fill out those applications in a timely manner. You're going to be filling out a little bit more quickly because you have everything you participated in right in front of you. So you'll be completing those quickly and more efficiently. Also, you're not going to forget about anything you did your freshman year of high school, maybe a special honor or an award that you received, because you want to include everything. Also, most of you, if not all of you, will need at least one, if not two, letters of recommendation. Now, students, I want you to be thinking, who can write me a good letter of recommendation? This must be a teacher, a counselor, a coach, an employer that you do a really good job for. Start building those relationships now. So when the time comes and you need to ask that individual for a letter of recommendation, you feel very comfortable doing so. And then when you ask that individual for a letter of recommendation, you hand them your activities resume, okay, with everything on it, so they can tailor that letter of recommendation specifically to you, hopefully setting you apart from the rest of the crowd, hopefully, helping you win that scholarship or getting you into that highly selective or highly competitive college. They're going to, get you out of the get you out of the crowd, set you apart from the rest of the applicants. Okay. So those are really two important parts of why it's good to have an activities resume. Now, if you're having trouble getting started, students, because I work with a lot of students, they're like, okay, I'm just staring at a blank piece of paper. What do we do? How do I get started? What I tell everybody to do is just start brainstorming and just start writing down, listing everything that you participated in. Things like summer activities, work experience, sports achievements, even sporting activities that you were in, volunteer work, volunteer experiences, community services, everything that you participated. Just start writing them down, just a big old list. All right. And now once you've compiled a nice list and you're done brainstorming, you want to start to categorize them into sections, similar groups, so to speak. Okay. So here's like an example of some similar groups. Maybe categorize them into school activities, community involvement, employment, honors or awards, or even a skills section that we'll talk about a little bit later on. Okay, so that's how you want to categorize them. So now we got a list, and then we're going to start to categorize them. All right, so this is a nice example of an activities resume, and this is the template that we have on our website at icansucceed.org. This is what I was referring to before. Now notice at top we have here the student's name, along with some good demographic information, address, phone number, and then email address. Guys, use your professional email address. If you don't have one, create one. Don't use your fun email address or whatever. Get a professional email address if you don't have one. Okay. And then you're going to start listing, all the information on your activities resume here. All right. Now remember, this is just a template. Okay. And you're going to build on this. Use this as like a skeleton, so to speak. You're going to add or delete categories. You don't have to use all these if you don't want to, or you can even add a skills category if you want to as well. Anything that really showcases your abilities, what's going to make you shine to employers, colleges, and scholarship committees. That's what you're going to use. So let's start talking about the sections of each, of the activities resume. Break down each section basically. So the first section will be the education component, that part. Now the education is information about, of course, where you attended a high school, and your GPA, ACT scores, extracurricular activity, education, things like that. I'm sorry. And then within that, you want to make sure that you're looking at the high school that you went to. Again, I'm going to go over here. The high school you went to, the student listed. They also listed their GPA, their class rank, if applicable, their ACT score, and then also their academic awards. Okay. And this individual listed like National Honor Society and Honor Roll. And they were in the honor roll for 4 years. So they put the corresponding number of years there as well. Okay, you want to use this section to really accentuate your academic achievements. Okay, so now I have several students that have asked me, ACT, do I have to list this on my activities resume? Because, I have a 3.9 GPA. I'm at the top of my class. I do really good in school, but I'm not a great test taker. I get test anxiety. I've tried 4 times and the highest I can get is a 19. Do I have to list this on my activities resume? Well, my opinion is, if the scholarship application, if the college isn't specifically asking for it, no, you could go ahead and leave that off. You do not have to list that, because think about it. An activities resume is really, an overall view of you. All right. We're looking at education, a work experience, community involvement. You're not going to be defined by one little score. One little score does not define you overall. Okay. An activities resume is a holistic approach of your academic achievements overall. Okay. So if they're not specifically asking for it, yeah, go ahead and leave that off. You don't have to list that. If you feel that does not represent you scholastically, go ahead and just, drop that ACT score. Okay. So this is basically, we want to start with education. That's going to go on top. Okay. Next, we have school activities. So school activities, this will be things like extracurriculars, sports, clubs, drama club, chess club, cheer, student council. Now, within each section here, you want to make sure that you are including the activity that you're involved in, the position held, and the grade levels that you were involved. So as an example here, this individual, school activities here, they were in student council, they were the vice president of the student council, and then the corresponding grade level, okay, in their senior year. All right, so we kind of want to use this format throughout the activities resume. So there's a really nice cohesive flow throughout the activities resume. So it looks very similar to this. So it's appealing to the eye, basically, for your reader. Okay, so that's kind of how we're going to go through this. So one note about this vice president, this is really important. Okay, we're going to put a pin in that because I'm going to come back to that leadership role. That's going to be very, very important when we talk about scholarships later on. I have a slide that we'll go over. I think it's my second to the last slide that we'll talk about the importance of listing leadership attributes on our activities resume later on. Okay, so the second one here, school activities. Third, we got community involvement. Okay, so community involvement, or even, volunteering, maybe you're working towards your silver cord. Notice again, we're going to follow that same approach. We're going to be listing all the things that we're involved in, hospital volunteer, food pantry volunteer, church youth group. So if you facilitated that, if you created that group, you want to put that right here. Okay. And then again, the corresponding grades. Another thing that I like the student did is they put the total community service hours right here. So if somebody doesn't have a lot of time, if the reader is just glancing at this, at first glance, they can look at a total, cumulative total of how many community service hours that you did. Maybe they're just looking for a number, and that's a really impressive number. Okay, so maybe put a total of service hours on the bottom there, cumulative total. That's really nice. Now, this community service, community involvement section is really important, especially if you're asking your counselor for a letter of recommendation. Now, counselors, your school counselor knows what you do in high school. They're with you all day, every day. They know what you do in school, but they don't know what you do after 3 o'clock when the bell rings, or, on the weekends. But what are you doing? That's primarily the time when you're doing your community involvement, community service. Okay, so this is a great opportunity for them to incorporate this community involvement into your letter of recommendation. Okay, so when you're handing your activities resume to your counselor, they're going to look at this. They're going to say, I didn't know you volunteered at the Humane Society. Well, geez. So they're going to put that into your letter of recommendation. Okay, so that's a great opportunity for them to do that. So again, hopefully separating you from the rest of the pack, applying for that one scholarship, or hopefully getting you into that very competitive college or university. So after that, next we have employment. Okay, did you hold down a part-time job while you were in high school? Any kind of job while you were in high school? Okay, great. If you did, put it in this section. Anything you did to bring the real world experience into your high school world, basically. And then you want to list the corresponding grades or class years, just like the other categories that you did. So what did you do? And then kind of your, what did you do at that job, your general duties that you performed at the job there. Okay. Now, this work category, something I want to note about this work category. I know that some students that I work with, they work 30 plus hours a week because their income must supplement the family income. Their income helps pay the family bills. Okay, so they're working 30 plus hours a week. Now that means that since they're working so much, the top of their activities resume is pretty light because they don't have a lot of time for the extracurricular activities. So when a reader is scanning that, they see it's pretty light on top, but when they come down to the bottom, they see, oh, they're working. And at that time, I want them to put the number of hours that they're working, usually 30 to 35 hours per week, because then they see, okay, that's why we're light at top, because we're working so many hours. And maybe in that case, you can say, I need to work this many hours to help supplement the family income, or something like that. You can use this to kind of explain the situation. All right. And in some cases, you can include this, but if you do, you want to make sure that you're going to be concise and to the point with that. Okay. So that's always something you can use, again, to highlight your current situation. So kind of telling the reader all about you without coming out and and saying that sometimes maybe I'm paying a lot of the bills, because they could get an idea. They can get an idea just by reading your activities resume. So. All right, and then the next section is any honors or an awards that you have received. Okay, so if you received a special honor or an award for grades, sports teams, or clubs that you do participate in, you want to go ahead and list those. AP Scholar, the years that you received those, and then soccer MVP. This is the last section. Now, if you were applying for, let's say, an apprenticeship or a trade school, this is where after this one, you might want to add a skills section after this section. Okay. So if you have, if you had, let's say a shop class, or if you were working or if you took classes in school, electrical classes or automotive classes, any school to work program classes, that helps you to get into your career of choice, and now you're trying to get into a trade program. I would definitely make it another skills section and list those skills. Now, can you put that into the educational section? Sure, you could. But if you're trying to get into a different trade school or an apprenticeship program, well, yeah, I would make it its own section after this as well. So just something to think about. Now, because the activities, resume is meant to tell readers more about you as the person, you can include any unique skills that display your personality, why you would be that best fit to win that scholarship or admitted to their apprenticeship or college or university. Okay, you're going to tweak and move this around, delete, add things to best fit you. Okay. So like we said, if we're going to be light up here, we can be heavy down here with the employment. If we don't have a whole lot of honors and awards, we're going to put skills in there, things like that. We're going to make it best fit you. Okay. It's not a one size fits all type of a form. Now, why is an activities resume important? Of course, it's going to help you fill out the scholarship applications and college applications. But also think about this. Colleges often want well-rounded applicants who can not only excel academically, but also take the initiative to participate on campus and bring positive attention to the college. So when they're looking at this right here, they want to see what you do in school and what you participate in school. Because what you do, in high school, you're probably going to do that in college as well. Okay, so they're going to see what you want to do in school. They want to see what you're going to bring to our campus too. So that resume can demonstrate, those skills, those extracurricular activities that you plan to participate when you get to college. Okay. So this is especially important if you're involved in activities, that maybe even directly relate to your major of choice too. Same thing with the scholarships. If you're using this, activities resume and you're giving this to a counselor for the letter of recommendation, give the committee a reason why you should be a best fit for that scholarship. Maybe you're giving this to the committee itself. Why are you the best fit for that scholarship? Okay. And also you can give them some insight on what you plan to accomplish after college. What are you going to do with their money? If they plan to help you pay for college, what kind of job are you planning to do? What do you want to do with that? If they're going to pay for your tuition, books, or what have you, what do you want to do later on? What do you want to accomplish? So this activity resume really provides a holistic approach of the student. It not only showcases, the student's academic abilities, but also school community involvement, and it communicates several different skills, which employers, colleges, and also scholarship communities are looking at, which is going to be time management, dedication, teamwork, and collaboration. So there's a very good skills to hone in on your while you're in high school. Now, these are areas that they're all going to be looking for in candidates. Okay. So use a template, like I said before, and then you can go directly to that template at icansucceed.org/activities resume. Again, you could go to our materials library. You could go to icansucceed.org/materials, or you can go here. I'm giving you several different ways to find that activities resume template. Okay. So, okay, now you want to start today and you want to progress throughout your 4 years of school. So you want to go ahead and start that Word document, save it to your, save that template to your computer or in your folder on your school network. You know, a lot of students ask, when should I start it? Well, start your freshman year and continually add to it. If you're in your sophomore, junior, senior year, start now. Okay, start now. And then think back to years past and then kind of catch up to where you're at currently. Okay, and add to it semester by semester. Now, you want to be concise, you want to be thorough, add everything, but concise and right to the point. Get to the point of it. Explain your specific roles in organizations that you participated in and include all information. This document is going to help sell you to that crowd. It's going to help you sell you to the scholarship and use it to set you apart from the rest of the crowd. Try to use action words as much as possible. So instead of, I did this, I participated in this, use achieved, chaired, facilitated, represented, promoted, coordinated. Those words sound so much better than participated in. I went out for, I did, you know, use those action words when you can in your activities resume. Other tips that I recommend doing, this is going to be proofreading. Okay, so you want to proofread your activities resume, make sure there are no typos on here, and have somebody you know also proofread this activities resume, like a parent, someone who knows you, somebody who knows what you've done throughout your high school career, because they can go through it and they could say, all right, I didn't find any typos. However, you forgot to list that summer that you volunteered to be a softball umpire. Remember, you didn't get paid for that. You volunteered. You better put that on there. So they're going to remind you of things that perhaps you forgot to list. So have somebody you know look over that information as well. Okay. We want to use a template for organization and clarity. We talked about that. And then we want to continue to add to it throughout your 4 years of high school. We're always adding to it. Okay. Now, when you're a senior, I want you to keep print out 5 copies and keep those in your locker, because you never know when a scholarship application or scholarship, opportunity may pop up, and then you're going to need a 1 letter of recommendation. So when you apply for that, or when you hunt down your counselor and say, oh, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, can you please write me a letter of recommendation? You're going to grab that letter, grab your activities resume from your locker, and then hand that to him and say, can you please write me a letter of recommendation for such and such scholarship? Okay. When you ask them for that letter of recommendation, please do not ask them 2 days before, a day before, an hour before. Don't do that. Give them at least a week heads up in advance, at least a week notice. Okay. At least. So I found the more time you give somebody to write a letter of recommendation, the better letter you're going to get. And when you hand them your letter of recommendation, then they're going to tailor it to you, because they have everything that you participated in right in front of them. And it's going to allow them to incorporate all those things that you've done in high school into that letter of recommendation, even, your volunteer work that you do outside of high school. Okay. So that's one tip. Keep about 5 copies in your locker. Never know when you're going to need those. Okay. So here's where it all kind of comes together when it comes to scholarships and such and things like that. What I would be doing right now, students, is not only working on my activities resume, but also researching scholarships, just finding them, even if you can't apply for them just yet. So let's say you're a sophomore in high school and you're thinking about the cost of college. Well, I want to be looking for scholarships out there. And even though you can't apply for them, I just want to start pulling down the applications and looking at the requirements. What do you need to have in order to apply for that scholarship? So when it's your turn to apply for it, you have all your ducks in a row. You're good to go. You can apply for that scholarship. Very rarely do scholarship committees change their requirements on a year-to-year basis. So what your seniors needed that year for their senior year is probably going to be the same thing that you need when it's your turn to put in your scholarship application. Okay, so just look at the requirements. And I have an example here. The Iowa Farm Bureau Scholarship. Now, Iowa Farm Bureau, they're a good friend of ICANN's. They are a donor to us. They are a partner to ICANN, a very good friend of ours, and we appreciate that. And they also have a scholarship for their customers, students. So if you are a Farm Bureau customer, guess what? They may offer us, they have a scholarship available for your students that your student can apply for. Okay, so I'm just using this as an example here. Go on their website and then just look at the requirements here. So I just, kind of cherry picked some of the requirements here. So let's say you're a sophomore in high school. Here's what you're going to be looking at. Okay, when is it due? All right, so for next year, it's going to be due January 29th, 2025. So remember, okay, it's the first part of the year. That's when it's due. What do you need to have? A 2.5 on a 4.0 scale, okay? Involved in school activities, 4-H, FFA, student council, so on and so forth. Demonstrate leadership abilities. Remember I said put a pin in that. We're going to talk about leadership abilities later on. It's not good enough to be involved in school activities, but be a leader in those school activities. Okay, so if you're already an FFA, 4-H, student council, again, try for president, vice president, treasurer, and then list that on your activities resume. Okay, so because that's going to speak volumes when it comes to scholarship opportunities. And then we have volunteer efforts here. And then we got 2 character reference letters. So again, students, I need you to be thinking, who can write me a good letter of recommendation? A counselor, a teacher, a coach, even an employer that you do a really good job for. Okay, so, everything that you need to get yourself into a good college, a recommendation to get into a good apprenticeship, it's going to help you with the scholarships too, right? So this is just one example. Where else can you find those scholarships? So this is our website again, icansucceed.org. There's our resource library up there where you can find all those downloads. If you go down here to the quick links, I want you to scroll down a little bit, and then we have a direct link right to our scholarship homepage where we've listed all of our scholarships, and then you can click on that to see if you're eligible to apply for some of those. Also links to free scholarship search websites as well. But what I first want you to do is check locally. Check with your local high school and check with your counselor to see if there are any local scholarships that you can apply for. I like the local scholarships the best because think about it, students, you are competing with a much, much smaller pool of applicants for that free money versus statewide or even nationwide scholarships. So local first, they're probably earmarked only for just your high school's graduates. Okay. Then we want to branch out to the college and university. When you start going on your campus tours, or if you're currently doing that, pop into the college's financial aid office and pick up a pamphlet or brochure of scholarships for incoming freshmen. Or there might be scholarships available for your major, your intended major that you're going into. So take a look at that. A lot of colleges even list those right on their website. Okay, so take a look at their websites under the financial aid homepage for any scholarships that you can apply to. Now think your local community. So first off, parents, your job, your place of employment. Does your place of employment offer a scholarship for your student? Check with your HR department, double check there. And then if they do, grab that application, even if they're a freshman or sophomore in high school, just grab that application and start looking at the requirements so they can start working on those. Maybe one of them will require an essay. The student can start working on that essay. So when it's their turn, they have it all complete and they're ready to go. Then we want to branch out into our local community, your bank, your credit union, your insurance agency. Who do you do business with on a day-to-day basis? They might have a scholarship available for your student. Check on their website to see if they have something available there. Okay. And then you want to go broader to the national search websites. So like I said, those are on our website. We have links to those. Okay. So, all right. And it's under and that's under our quick links down here at icansucceed.org. Right. So again, these are just a couple of 2 downloads. I want to give you these websites again where you can find that template, and then also another place to go for our materials, because I did this before and I got a couple calls that said, what's those websites again where I can get those materials? Here's the download. If anything, guys, that activities resume and these two things, these countdown calendars, the freshman, sophomore, and the junior, senior countdown calendar, just a really nice step-by-step, month-by-month on what students should be doing to prepare for life after high school. And it's just a really nice checklist. And from a timeline perspective, it's great. It's kind of great to keep you on track. Now, here's our advising services. Now, ICAN is a nonprofit organization, and we offer free services for parents and students. We don't charge for anything. We offer in-person appointments. We also offer virtual appointments through Zoom. So if you find yourself a ways away from one of our locations, and you can find our locations on our website, again, at icansucceed.org. I'm based out of the Central Iowa location out of DMAC, Des Moines Area Community College. That's where my office is. But if you find yourself, a little bit farther away from one of our offices, we can always do an appointment through Zoom virtually. Okay. So we offer appointments through career exploration, college exploration, filling out a free application for federal student aid. That's what most parents utilize our services for, filling out that FAFSA application. That's especially helpful for first-time college students and first-time parents with a college student, and getting that FAFSA application going. Also, covering college costs, reviewing financial aid offers, the financial aid offer review, and then also the CSS profile. So you can always go ahead and schedule an in-person or virtual appointment by calling us. Here's our toll-free number, 877-272-4692, or you can always visit us at our website, icansucceed.org/appointment. And you can make an appointment online with any number of our representatives or myself for assistance with any number of these things, or if you just have a general question to ask. Okay. All right, so I hope you got a few good takeaways from this information provided in the webinar today. And if you, like I said, if you do have questions, give us a call. And thank you very much for watching.